and book finesse. Mix 'em up, that's your best. This is the best show. Guiding your souls to grow. Helping you find your flow.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Best Bet Show. I am your host. You already know, Best Bet Dan in the building. If you are not already, please find me on IG. Hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you are watching or listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, definitely subscribe on whatever platform you found me. But I got a great episode for you today. So let's get ready to jump right into it. But side note, I got something. So I'm real excited about. So I went out and I got the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. And I'm so excited for these because I'm going to use them to promote the book, my new book, Get More from the Game. And so it's really cool. So here's a strategy, right? Here goes the game plan. So one of the things that I know that is like super viral when it comes to promoting and when it comes to marketing is authentic human reactions. So the game plan or the strategy is to do man on the street interviews where I have a book and I go to student athletes and parents and I say, hey, would you mind reading the first 2 pages and can I capture your reaction to the book on camera? So boom, I let them read. Then I'll capture their authentic response on whether or not they would continue reading the book, whether they want to purchase the book, or whether they thought the book was straight trash and I should burn it. So either way, I'm going to record a lot of content like this. I'm going to go to sports venues. And I think it's going to be really, really awesome to have this level of authenticity and just organic promotion of the book. So I think that can help to blow it up. And I think those can be things that can potentially go viral. So I am extremely excited for that. So now that I've kind of gone through that, I'm going to take these glasses off because I'm not going to record this podcast the whole time with shades on. That's not really my style. So let me get rid of these. All right, so let's talk about today's show. Today's show, the focus. Oh, you can get the book on Amazon too. The book is available on Amazon, or you could get it on my website, bestbetlife.com. That is bestbetlife.com. All right, so what we talking about today? Today, we are going to talk about, you ready for this? Overcoming resistance to non-traditional paths. You ready? I'm going to say it one more time. Overcoming resistance to non-traditional paths. So, my personal connection to this is very simple. It's been my life. I went to college for 1 year, and I split that year between 2 schools. I started at MCC here in Rochester. And then in the spring semester, I transferred to Palm Beach Atlantic University in West Palm Beach, Florida. So I did really good at MCC. Actually, I did the best academically like I had ever done like in high school or college when I was at MCC because I was so locked in trying to get to Florida. When I got to Florida, I did okay. I was a pre-law major, but then I realized that like being a lawyer in law wasn't really the thing for me. And so that's what kind of led me to dropping out of school because I started to feel like the entrepreneurship itch and just kind of, hey, wanting to kind of create my own path, which in hindsight, knowing what I know now, was a little bit of ADHD in terms of just how I actually function. But either way, we're here now. And so I didn't have a path that was traditional. You know, I didn't go to, 2-year, 4-year school or whatever, get a degree, get a job, 9 to 5 and kind of work that way. I've had businesses since I was 19, some successful, some failures, a lot of failures. But either way, I learned a lot through the process. I learned a lot through the journey. So why are we still so resistant to paths that are outside of the traditional academia? One, I know for a fact it's society, it's media, it's the way things should go. And it's funny because I've had, parents and young people that I've talked to that they literally will tell you straight up. They'll tell you straight up that they see the shift. They see what's happening and the fact that college is not like the end all be all. But in the very next breath, they'll say, but I got to go to school. Now they're not. Now these particular people, they're not trying to do anything where a degree is required. So they're not trying to be like doctors, attorneys, or anything like that. But they're just locked into this system. Like it's like they can't shake it. And I think it gives people a level of comfort, especially when you have people who kind of care a little bit more about what others think. It just gives you that level of comfort. Like, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, quote unquote. And so, yeah. And I think having this conversation, another reason why it's super important is because in this day and age, there are so many options to educate yourself and to build skill, and to create skill that can really make you a living. So first and foremost, right, let's set the table, right? No matter what it is, whether it's college, whether it's trade school, the military, whatever, the ultimate goal for a young person transitioning into adulthood is for them to have a skill set, have abilities that are valuable enough in the marketplace where they're able to successfully care for themselves and a potential family that they may want. Okay. So that's like the baseline. Like that's the bottom of the pool, right? Like that's what we want. It's like, yo, can we put a young person in a position where they will be able to successfully care for themselves? That's it, right? So now when we look at that, like, okay, what is the best way to get there? Like, how can we get there in the most efficient way? Right. So, again, we know what college is hitting for, we know, and a lot of times you're going to, have a good amount of debt, you're going to have, the time, the effort, the energy. You have to take classes that mean nothing. You have to take classes that, they're just saying, hey, this is a prerequisite. Now, what does that mean? Why is this a prerequisite? Why, if I'm studying to be an English teacher at an elementary school, why is it a prerequisite that I have to take this calculus course or any math in general for that? Like, why am I paying for this? Well, not only paying for it with my money, but why am I paying with my time? And so, again, how can we be the most efficient? So I think the number one thing when it comes to exploring non-traditional routes of education and just training paths is the efficiency. Like the fact that you can, in this day and age, you literally can design how you're going to build your skills through the coaches that are available. There's so many online courses. There's so many just different trade things you can take advantage of. You literally can build out your own path that is extremely efficient, where you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time learning skills that won't be relevant to what you have to do in life. Like, that's time, energy, effort, and money that you can't get back because you use it on that, okay? So with what's available in a non-traditional sense, you really can build a custom path. So one thing too is that I want to kind of bring up is I want to bring up and talk about the fact of like the origin of college and who college was designed for in the beginning of this whole thing. All right. So college was for aristocrats or families with money. And it was a situation where these kids, they didn't have to go to work in the family business. They didn't have to go right to working in the fields or doing whatever. They had the luxury that they could go attend higher learning, right? That they had years where they could just spend at university, kind of just gallivanting and doing whatever and learning the finer things in life. Like that is the origin of college. So college by nature, it wasn't this thing that said, hey, we want to get you prepared to be able to really do life at a high level. We want to get you prepared to be able to take care of yourself. No, college was, hey, you come from money, and this is just a place where it's almost like a refinement situation, but it wasn't a refining school, if that makes sense. It was just it was a flex. Hey, we're rich. We're sending our kid to university. Oh, your kid's working in the field. That sucks for you. So now when you look at how it kind of progressed through history, right, where now it becomes this thing where, okay, everybody's got to go. We got to send everyone's aspiring to be there. Everyone's aspiring. Now you have jobs making it requirements. We need a college degree for this, college degree for that. And so it shifted from being this thing that's aristocratic to now being this thing where, hey, it's what qualifies you to have a job. Well, today in this climate, that the college degree is a dime a dozen. It used to be something that was fairly, when you're talking about employers, especially like a master's degree, right? Like everyone didn't have a master's degree. Today, more people have master's degrees per capita than ever before, where like I know a friend right now with a master's degree who just got a job that will not pay her more than $19 an hour. And she has a master's, and they didn't feel bad about that. They didn't feel like, hey, you know, man, we're sorry. We know you got a master's. Let's see. They were like, nah, this is what it pays. So again, when the master's degree is now the new bachelor's degree, and the bachelor's degree is almost the high school diploma, like how valuable is it really in the marketplace? Now, on the flip side of that, because I know a lot of business owners and I talk to a lot of people who hire people, the level of entitlement of people with college degrees that don't really have functional skills coming with the degrees is off the chains. So you'll have someone that comes in with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and they want top dollar because they have this credential of, hey, I've got this degree, right? I've got this higher learning and so on and so forth. But they don't come to the table with great skills that are actually pertinent to the job or pertinent to being successful in that marketplace. So now these employers are having to train and develop people with master's degrees because they don't come ready, because they haven't been trained in that particular field or like in the specifics of the field, because the education system just doesn't work that way. And I'm talking about, I've talked to people in healthcare, nurses, doctors who have said literally like, I got on a job in nursing and I literally it was like I was in school all over again, because there was nothing like, they didn't do anything. It wasn't anything like what I learned in school. And so the origin of college, and it was derived not from a place of, hey, we want to really prepare you to be successful in life. It has an aristocratic origin where it was more about, what's the word I want? It was more about prestige. It was more about affluence, and it was more about just like the status of your family. Okay. So, skill-based hiring, it's on the rise. Companies, people, small businesses, they're looking for skilled individuals, and they will bypass any person with a college degree that does not have the skills that they want or the skills that they require. I look at my own life, and I've gotten jobs that I probably shouldn't have been able to get because I had skills. I was able to sell. I had good interpersonal skills. I was able to, kind of finesse situations. I had built a strong network, and I was able to get in the doors because I had relationships with people that maybe I shouldn't have been able to get into. And so what's crazy is that those things were not taught to me in school. They were kind of learned throughout life. They were learned through reading books. And that became really the basis of why I started doing what I'm doing. Because I just thought to myself, man, like if we could coach these things at a younger age and not make them things that people are learning through just the school of hard knocks and through life's bumps and bruises, we really have an opportunity to shave a lot of time and make the young person's journey so much more efficient. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about efficiency. Okay. So, I think one of the things that we can do to kind of reframe the conversation about kind of going non-traditional routes in terms of development and education is to reframe the conversation, reposition the conversation, right? So it's not non-traditional, it's strategic. It is strategic that we look to develop a young person, or a young person looks to be developed in ways and with skills that are in demand, right? That they literally can go and start to use today, right now, to make a difference and to create impact in their lives, versus learning a whole bunch of information that in the long run turns out to be pretty useless, right? So reframe it in the conversation is less about, oh, I'm doing something different. It's like, no, I'm doing something strategic. I'm strategically planning for my future, and I'm doing it in a strategic way that is causing me to be more efficient in how I'm able to create my best circumstance. Okay. The other thing is emphasizing skills over credentials. Again, what can you do? Like, that's what the marketplace wants to know. It wants to know what you can do. It doesn't care what title is behind your name. What can you successfully make happen? Because the marketplace is a make it happen. It's a make it happen marketplace. Okay. Yeah. So like one thing that you're probably going to deal with too is you have people that are skeptical, and a lot of parents. And it's funny, even in my field of work with Best Bet Skills Academy, I run into parents that are skeptical. They're just like, hey, like how do I know that this is going to work for my kid? How do I know that what you're saying or what you're doing is going to be something that's going to be beneficial to what my kid has going on? And so you make sure you have your credentials. If you're someone that's in my position where you have some sort of, skill-based learning program, or you're building something, and kids, right, students, if this is something, all right, if you want to do something that is off the beaten trail, find testimonials, find people that have done or gone the path that you want to go, and share that with your parents. Get them in front of the people that are doing what you want to do and let them hear, hey, this is how they did it, and this is what they're doing, and this is how things are happening for them. Okay? So, again, share results, share testimonials, and then share your dedication. Now, I'm talking specifically to the student right now. One of the biggest things that is going to really, really, really get your parents on board with your plan, if it's non-traditional, is going to be you. It's going to be, how much are you bought in? How are you showing them that, hey, I'm dedicated to this? How can you show them like, hey, like if you make this investment in this option, which is non-traditional, like I'm willing to show up. Matter of fact, here's what I've already done without your investment. Here's what I invested my own money on. Here's where I said I'm taking initiative, and I'm doing this because I want to show you that this is how bad I want this and how much I believe in this, right? That I'm going to tell you, like when it comes to you as a student, like getting your parents buy-in on something that is non-traditional, like, yo, yeah, that's where it starts. And it's funny because when I'm talking to students that are, going to be potentially working with me, I tell them, I say, I got stuff on YouTube. I have, on my website, I have a free, you can go in and you can go and sample some of my classes and some of my lessons. Do all of it and come to the table with a case. Come to the table saying, hey, mom, dad, look, here's what I've learned from this guy so far. And I've learned all of this, and I've started to execute and do these things, and I've never really met him before. I haven't worked with him, but I want to take that next step, and I actually want to work with him. I actually want to be a part of his coaching program, and I'm showing you all of this to show you that like I'm already locked in with him. So if you make the investment for me to work with him, then like, again, I already believe and I'm already getting results from his coaching and teaching, and we haven't even really connected in that capacity yet. So create a strong argument for whatever it is you want to do by showing them, giving them the information and the data that you want them to have to really make a strong decision that, hey, this is an investment that, using some of the money that we saved up for college or whatever, will really, this will be meaningful. Okay. So, some actionable steps, just some things to think about, right? So for parents, how do you evaluate non-traditional programs for your children? Seek out testimonials. If you got, a coach, if you've got a program or something that, you're looking at, ask if there's people that have been through it that you can talk to and see what they're saying. I know there's been several times where parents have asked me, do you have a student we could speak to? Do you have another parent we could speak to about their experience? I'm like, absolutely, and, I have parents that have said they're willing to share their experience and what they've seen from their students working with me. So boom, we have that. Encouraging open dialogue during this process and journey. So parents, and if you're a kid listening to this, have this open dialogue with your parents. This is one of those things when you're in transition. How do I want to say this? Transitions are either the greatest place of opportunity in our lives, or they're the greatest chance to drop the ball. So transition is either the greatest chance for acceleration, or it is the greatest opportunity to drop the baton. And I use a track a reference on purpose, because it's funny, even in businesses, right? A business can run smooth for years, but when it comes time for that CEO to retire and kind of switch over, right? Switch over the reins to the next CEO, like the succession plan and how the company moves on from one leader to the next, it really means everything. And we've seen companies literally fail because they did not do well with transferring leadership. And so it's the same thing when you're talking about a student or a young person transitioning to adulthood. Like, this transition is so important. So communication is so vital. So parents, keep dialogue open. Don't shut down opportunities just because you maybe aren't familiar with a certain path or a certain kind of right now, parents, there's stuff you don't know about. There's e-gaming. You don't know about how kids make money in e-gaming. There's streaming. You don't understand about how people are making money in streaming. There's all types of things that you just don't know enough about, but you cannot afford to be closed-minded because your kid is counting on you. They're counting on you to be able to have these conversations with and be transparent and be open and say, hey, this is where I'm trying to get to. How can you help me? For students, actionable items. Take steps to explore alternative paths, internships, vocational training, skill building programs. Again, like I said, if the things I talk about are interesting to you, I got stuff on YouTube. I got stuff on my website. I wrote a book. Jump into everything that you can jump into and show your parents, look, I'm already locked in with this guy. Look, I already believe. Look, here's what his students are saying based on these testimonial videos I found on his website or on his YouTube. Use everything you've got to paint the picture that, hey, I'm serious about this, even though it looks different. The other thing is, and I think this is kind of goes back to what I just said, but demonstrating value to skeptical family members. Take a YouTube video from maybe there's someone whose course you want to take. Execute what you learned from their free stuff. And say, hey, remember you saw me do X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I remember you did that. I learned that from here. Really? Yeah. So if I learned that in the free stuff, imagine what I could learn if I worked with them. Imagine if I was involved in this program, what this could do for me, right? These are all things that you can do to build your case to get the support that you need financially to do these things. And on the chance that none of those things work, man, what are you willing to do to support your own dream? What are you willing to do? Because it's funny because I had a young man who I spoke to a couple weeks ago who we may potentially work together. And he was going to pay $1,000 down to work with me for 1 year. And the rest of the payment was going to be $2,500. So it's $3,500 for the year, $1,000 down, $2,500 over the course of 12 months. That payment was $208 a month. So it's just like, man, okay, $1,000 up front. You got 10 people that believe in you. Ask them to support you with $100. Do you have 20 people? Ask them to support you at 50. Babysit for a couple months, cut lawns, clean garbage cans, boom. And then the $200 a month, like, get you a part-time job at the very least. Like, if you're in a position where you haven't gotten any credit cards yet, you don't have any debt, you should be able to do something like that. And I'm just using my course for an example, but big numbers aren't that big when you start to break them down into bite-sized pieces. So you may have parents that are completely unsupportive, and you may have to fund your own goals. That's okay. Lock in and do what you have to do, because when you believe in something, you owe it to yourself to pursue it. All right, so just to kind of wrap things up, it's super important to be open-minded on alternative paths. We know that college is not the only way. We know that now better than ever before. It's just a matter of taking advantage of what's out there. But be open-minded. Be open to conversations. Be open to stuff that you see on the internet. Not everybody's a scam. And let me just say that. There are scams out there, and you need to be aware. You need to be awake. But at the same time, not everyone is a scammer. Not everyone is trying to take advantage of you. Okay? So find good people. Stay locked in with them and get as much information as you can with them. All right? So I I think that's all I got really for this episode. If what I've said has really intrigued you, I want you to take action. I want you to start, hey, locking in and tapping into some of the resources that you know are out there. Maybe we've been talking. Maybe you and I have been talking about working together and going through Best Skills Academy. Maybe it's time to make that happen. Explore more of my stuff. Go to the website, read testimonials, and let's figure out how to get to work. But no, this is really good. I'm super excited. And I would love to hear your feedback on this episode. So the comments are open as usual. Let me know what you got going on. Also, remember the book, Get More from the Game. It is on Amazon as well as my website, bestbetlife.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and follow me on all platforms. I am at Best Bet Dan. All right, until next time, you guys have a fantastic day. This is the Best Bet Show, where we talk about the skills that give you the best bet to create the life of your dreams. And I'm out. Peace.
Street smarts and book finesse. Mix 'em up, that's your best. This is the Best Bet Show. Guiding your souls to grow. Helping you find your